Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for the webinar on an overview of quantum listing. My name is David Perlmutter, and I will be your host today. I am the founder of Quantum Listing. I've been a commercial real estate broker for over 30 years. I've developed retail shopping centers, and now wanted to try my hand as a real estate technology entrepreneur. And we started Quantum Listing a few years ago, initially as a app for the iPhone, and we developed the website about 8 months after that, and we redid the website a year ago, October. Right now, we've been enjoying a lot of growth, and we want to make sure that you get to know all the great features of Quantum Listing so that you can get the most out of it. Quantum Listing is a commercial real estate listing service. We like to say you search for free, post for less, and share everywhere. So with that, let's learn about searching for free. Okay, here is the landing page, and we'll be toggling back and forth between our PowerPoint and the website so you can see things that we're talking about live. This is the first time we've done this presentation this way. Hopefully it will go smoothly. I know that there is a little bit of a delay between the visuals, switching from one to the other. So hopefully I won't get too far ahead. This is the landing page when you first come to quantumlisting.com. As you can see right there in the middle of the landing page is a search box. And anybody coming onto our site can see every single one of our users' listings. They don't have to register, they don't have to log in, they can just type in a location. So if you see it pop up down here and you click on that, and here's our search. You can scroll down and move on to the next page down here. If you click through to a listing, you'll get to its listing detail page. Click on the contacts, you get the contact information, and we'll get into a little more depth on this in a little bit. Okay, so we actually covered that first slide, so we're moving right along. So when you sign up for Quantum Listing, if you're not already a member, you get a 3-month free trial, and we don't collect your credit card information up front. You have to opt in to become a paying member, and if you are only searching our users' listings, you don't really need to be a paying member. It's only if you are posting listings. Now, we added some social signups to make it nice and easy for you to sign up. So you can either sign up manually or use your Facebook or Google or LinkedIn accounts to sign up for Quantum Listing. And then what you will need to do is choose enterprise or individual accounts. And the enterprise account is really meant for a business that has multiple agents, and within the enterprise account you can have managers to help with the workflow and create multiple agents, and the admin only has to sign in and can access all the different agents' accounts and assign multiple agents to listings through that one sign-in. So it's real nice and easy for them. So let's hop over to the website for a second. And there's a green free trial button right here on the top corner. You click on that and you see that page that we looked at. And I am going to sign in here and clicking login. Okay, and this is my profile page. So after you sign in, you're going to be taken to your profile page. And it's nice to build out your profile and add things which you'll be able to see here, like enterprise accounts can add a logo and a profile picture. You click on this little icon here on the top here that looks like a pencil and paper to edit the profile. Hang on. And you can add a profile picture and a bio. And to add the profile picture, you click on the camera icon there, and that will allow you to pick something from your directory on your computer. We encourage you to add a bio also. If you have a bio on your company website, you certainly can copy and paste that right into here. If you need to change your phone number or your email address, this would be the place to do that as well. We also encourage you to add links to your company website and social media accounts. And you can just copy the URLs from those accounts into this page here to make it nice and easy for you. And once you've built out your profile, we want you to make sure you hit save so that all that work is saved. And what you see here next is the profile page, and we're going to talk about adding listings. So when you are on your profile page, and anytime you're on QuantumListing and you want to get back to your profile page, there is a avatar in the top right corner. You can see it here in the top right corner. It looks like a head and shoulders. And you click that, and it takes you back to your profile page. So when you're adding a listing, you want to make sure that you've clicked on listings first, and you click this green plus sign on the top right, and you can either drag and drop pictures and PDFs to add them here, or you can click to go to your file directory. And if you're an enterprise account, you can select the different agents you want assigned to a listing like that. Adding a listing title is also mandatory. And let's talk about listing titles, because some people just put a suite number on these listing titles or something that is not as communicative as it could be for the people that are going to be the audience for the listing. So make sure when you're doing these titles, you really give it some thought. You want it to pop, and I highly recommend that you add the city and state of the listing to the title, because we're going to be sharing your listings through an automated system that we've developed to our social media. So it's going to go out to LinkedIn, Facebook, Google Plus, and Twitter. And that listing title is going to be the text that shows up in those social media posts. You want to make sure that it's something that's descriptive and is going to let the viewer who is not familiar with that property know what it's all about. And then you can add a description here. A lot of times, if you have a description in your existing collateral, your listing flyers, you can copy and paste those descriptions in here. You're going to choose whether the property is for lease, for sale or lease, or sublease. We have other options as well. If you want to quote rent in a monthly or annual basis, or if you're on the West Coast, you can quote rent per square foot monthly. You need to also select the asset type, and we have over 20 different asset types that we've added here. You need to add the rent. However, if you want to not have the rent, you can just leave it as 0. And when people see your listing, it's going to show up as inquire. You need to add square feet available, and you can again have it be 0 and it will show up as inquire. And then you're going to pick the date. You pick a date from the calendar. The other thing that's really, really important is when you're adding an address, you need to type in enough so that it shows up in the drop-down menu, and be sure to select the address in the drop-down menu so that you see it here on the map. Otherwise, it will not geocode and it will not save. There are additional parameters that you can add to your listing if you want. And you can do an additional URL, which could be anything like linking back to your website or your own bio page on your company website. If you have a blog, you could do that. If you have a listing site for an individual listing, anything like that is fine. You can add parking, the number of offices, bathrooms, floors, electrical vehicle charging, and you can add the size of the different spaces. If you'd like, you can add the commission split, and you can also add a link to a YouTube video of the listing. Now, the next part is very important. If you are adding pictures to your listing, and we sure hope you do, you've got to make sure, even if you don't add pictures, you still have to click this box that says I have the rights to all the images I'm adding to QuantumListing. Otherwise, your listing will not show up in the public feed and will not be searchable. So please make sure you check off that box. Also make sure when you're ready to publish it that you've got this publish box checked. And if you're willing to co-broke your listing, you can check that as well. And there'll be an indicator. I'll show you what that looks like. Oh, hang on. You see this little head and shoulders, two people avatar right here. That lets people know that you're willing to co-broke your listing. So let's go back here for a minute. And then, of course, don't forget to hit save once your listing has, you've added everything to your listing. And if you want to hit save before all the information is in, that's you'll get an error notice typically if the mandatory items aren't in. If you've added stuff but want to add more, you can always come back and edit your listing later. It's real easy, and we'll get to that as well. So to edit your listing, there's 3 little dots above the top right, to the top right of your listing, and it brings up a menu which allows you to edit, archive, or delete your listing. Let's go back to the website and go show you what that looks like in real life. So we're clicking edit. We've actually added a couple more options here. So editing, you just hit edit, go back, make any changes you want. If you want to rearrange the pictures, you click on rearrange and you drag and drop, hit OK, and make sure you hit save when you're done. Let's talk for a moment about some of these other menu options. Delete is something we hope you don't do. What we really prefer is that you archive your listing instead. And the reason we want you to archive them is there are three good reasons. One is you'll be able to reactivate the listing if it becomes available again, and you won't have to do as much data entry. Two, it's nice to have a record of the deals that you've sold or leased. And three is you can make private notes that only you can see on any listing and say that you need to collect the second installment of a commission down the road. You can leave a little note on the archived listing about that, and it's a nice little reminder to jog your memory. If for any reason you need to temporarily unpublish your listing, you can click that here. You can export a listing to a PDF and add it to a report, a listing report as well. We'll cover these a little bit later. So if you are an enterprise account, pardon me, you can, to add managers, you're going to click enterprise, which will open up the enterprise menu, and that's where you'll be able to add managers and agents. To add a manager, you click that green plus sign again. Same for agents. You can see that here. And with QuantumListing, you can add as many managers as you want. You can add as many agents as you want as well. Also on that left-hand sidebar, you're going to see followers in that menu. Let's go back to the site. And so here's the managers. The followers are right here. And these are people who are following you, and we'll show you how to follow people. Here, I'll click on. So Tony Vanderbeek we're following, but if you, we'll use him as an example right now. And when you get to anybody's profile page, you're going to see this green follow button. You just click on that, and you'll find them back on your profile page in the future when you go back. And you can also see who is following you. And the stream here is going to show you the listings of the people that you are following. All right, we covered that. All right, so at the top of every listing card, you're going to see a little ribbon. And if you click that ribbon, it'll turn color, and you'll be able to find that back on your profile page. In your saved listings. So if you want to no longer save that listing, you just click the ribbon again, and it disappears from your saved listings. And this is a great way if you're doing research or you want to come back to this and call the brokers who are representing that property later having them in your saved listings can save you a little bit of work in the future. And we mentioned the private notes on listings, and on each listing detail page, underneath the featured image, you're going to see a gray band, and to make those private notes, you're going to click on the pencil icon. You'll have a little, let's show you. So you click on here where it says make a note, enter your note here. This is great, and hit save. And you're going to find that note on your profile page. Click info and click on notes. And here's the listing that we just put the note on. And you can edit that note and you can delete it as well. Also on that left-hand sidebar are RealTime Analytics. So you're going to be able to find how many times your listing has been viewed in the last week, the last month, or the last year. You can see how many times your account profile has been seen in that period. The number of, if you're an enterprise account, you're going to be able to see the views of your individual agents' profiles as well. And you're also going to be able to see the number of times that people have either shared your profile or shared your listings and downloaded or exported your PDFs. And so those are great things, and especially for us brokers, we're going to get inquiries from our principals or the landlords that we're doing work for, and they're going to want to know how many times those listings have been seen or shared, what kind of activity you're generating for them, and you're going to be able to get those analytics for them. And one of the nice things that at the top of each listing card, detail page rather, you're going to be able to see how many times that particular listing has been seen as well. So these are all the features that are on that gray ribbon. There's the adding to favorites. We'll come back to create an iframe. The personal notes, which we just talked about, adding a property to a listing report. QuantumListing, if you do not have your own listing flyer, we'll create a listing flyer for you using the images that have been added by the member, as well as all the information. Really handy to have if you got a new listing and you're off to show it and haven't had a chance to do your own proprietary flyer yet. And then if you have uploaded a flyer or somebody else has uploaded a flyer, you'll be able to use that last icon that looks like a mountain and the sun to download the flyer that has been added. And we've recently improved this function so that you can add multiple PDFs. So if you have a flyer and you have floor plans, those will all be accessible when you click that button. Now, also on the listing detail page, you're going to see this red circle, and that is the sharing icon. So if you click on that, it's going to open up this menu here with the Twitter sign, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Google Plus icons, as well as an email icon. So if you want to share a listing, whether it's yours or somebody else's via any of those means, you just click on that button. It pre-populates a message for you, and it makes it real easy to share. And in fact, let's go right now and show you exactly how easy that is. So we're going back to listings. All right, I'm clicking on the red sharing icon, and let's share this to Twitter. So it populates that message there, and that's all it takes. So you can see it really makes it easy. If you've got LinkedIn, if you've got Facebook, Twitter, and you haven't really been posting things to those social media, this is a great way to take advantage of that and open your listing up to the millions and millions of people that use those different platforms. All right. At the top of every page on LinkedIn, you have the opportunity to search by location or user. The default is to have the location search, but if you want to search by a user, you click on the little down arrow next to the location pin, excuse me, and select the avatar and start typing in the user's name, and it will populate a drop-down menu, and when you see the person you want, you select them and you'll go to their profile page. If you've gotten a lot of results in a search and you want to narrow them down, you can click on the filter icon, and you can either reduce or increase the radius. You can select the asset type, which correlates to the asset types that we saw when we were adding a listing. And you can also select whether it's for lease or sale or both or sublease. And the data available, you can filter by square feet and by price as well. Now, just the way you can share your listings by clicking on the icon for sharing, you can share your profile the exact same way. So here's a slightly different looking version of it. It's gray, but you recognize that triangular shape with the 3 dots and the 2 lines. So you click on that, it opens up this menu, and you can share it to Google+, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. You can also share, these golden brackets here are the symbol for iframes. So iframes allow you to share your profile or any listing on a website or a blog. So here at Perlmutter Properties, we're using QuantumListing to serve our listings to our website. Now, one of the super convenient things about this is that if you are looking to cut down on your work, this is a great thing to do, because when you update your listings on QuantumListing, they're automatically going to get updated in real time on your website. So you don't need to make changes in one location, then make changes in another location. We've cut out some of that work for you. You can also use iframes to serve an individual listing to a web page on your website or blog. So here's an example of one that we did on Perlmutter Properties website. And I'll tell you what, let's go jump over to Perlmutter Properties, and we'll show you real quickly what we're talking about. So here's that iframe there. The one thing that you copy and paste this code, and if you don't do it, your web developer is going to know how to do this. They're very familiar. Just tell them they're going to need to change the height from this to a number of pixels. 2000 generally works great. So it's super easy. Here's the icon for sharing your profile. You can also email that to somebody. All right. When you join QuantumListing, our team is going to assign you to a network. And that network is going to be based on a geographic area that where you're located or where your listings are. So if we see you're based in Ohio, we're going to put you in the Ohio network. We've added groups. So we're also going to assign you to the Ohio Wants group, which we'll talk about a little bit more about the groups. And this makes it real easy to get to know the people who are on QuantumListing from your area, get to see their listings without having to do a lot of searching, and it lets you connect with fellow brokers. My advice is when you sign up for QuantumListing, after we've assigned you to your network, go to that network, look for the brokers that you know, follow them, because brokers can be big. The networks can be very big, and we want you to have easy access to the information that is most important to you. And I see it's 3:30 and we still have a ways to go, so hopefully you guys can stick with us. If you have to jump off, I understand. We will get you the link to the webinar, so you'll be able to follow along, but hopefully you can stay with us now. Network admins are going to, in the future, have the capacity to send network-wide email blasts. We'll try to be sparing with those. And the network admins are going to have some analytics, which they'll be able to share with you in the future as well. So the way you get to see those networks, let's go to the site, is you're going to click on Networks and click on My Networks, and this is where at the top part where it says My Networks, you'll see if we've assigned you to a network already. If we haven't, or if you want to join additional networks, and you can join as many networks as you want, and there's no additional charge to be in these networks. So you just click Connect here. We're going to get an email, or the network admin will get an email, and they'll add you to that network. And if you need to leave a network for some reason, you can just click Disconnect, and that happens instantaneously. If you want to see your network listings, click on Network Listings. And if you're in multiple networks like I am, you can drill down to one individual network and see those listings. And there's ways to narrow the search here, just as there is in the main search bar. And we got network news, which is a cool way to see what the latest changes are in your network. So if you see that Barry Endelson has been busy editing his listings, you might want to jump over to Barry's profile and check out what he's been doing over there. All right, we're clicking on that avatar to go back to our profile page. And let's talk about groups while we're over here. Group feeds are very similar to the network news, so you can see the latest things that are happening. My groups, somewhat self-explanatory, but it shows you the groups that you're in. And then if you want to join more groups, you click the plus sign, and groups are a little more self-service than the networks. You're able to add yourself to a group. And the other cool thing about groups is you can start your own group. So I was on a web meeting recently with Ed Kopnick, and he said, how about a single tenant triple net lease group? And I said, that's a great idea. And he wanted to be the group admin, so Ed started a group for that. And if you're interested in single tenant net lease properties, I encourage you to click that plus sign here and become a part of Ed's group. If you are starting a group and you don't want other people to be able to join, when you are starting the group, you can make it a private group. So that way only you can invite people to be part of that group. Now, if we've created groups to sort of prime the pump here a little bit, and we've created groups for each asset class that is on QuantumListing, and we've also created wants groups. So these become like a bulletin board for your group, and if hopefully it'll be another great way for you to sort of interact with fellow brokers. And if you've got a requirement, you haven't been able to find it on QuantumListing or elsewhere on the web, post something in your group and maybe you'll get a response and somebody will help you find what you're looking for. So you can see there are lots of groups, and again, one for each of the 50 states and each of the asset classes as well. So if you're in a group, you can see who the group members are. And you can also drill down and see the listings for your group as well. Now, occasionally you're going to see in either a group or networks listings from areas outside of where that network or group is focused. And that's because when people join a network or a group, they bring all of their listings with them. So if a guy has listings in New York and Pennsylvania and Florida, you're going to see those listings as well, but you can filter out by searching for location. So hopefully that makes that a little bit easier. All right, I think we've covered this, and we've talked about groups. Oh, if you do want to start your group, a group of your own, when you're on the groups menu, you're going to click the green plus sign, and that's how you'll be able to start your own group. And if you are joining a group, you're going to get there'll be a pop-up message just making sure you want to join a group. If you want to create a group, you're going to add the name of the group, some information, and you'll be able to specify whether the group is private or public. And you can also choose whether you want group members to invite other people into the group, and they can be people who are in QuantumListing already, who are QuantumListing users, or they can be people from outside of QuantumListing as well. All right, let me cover that. So we get the question, how much does it cost? And it doesn't cost a lot to be a member of QuantumListing. First, when you join, as I believe we mentioned earlier, everybody gets 3 months for free right off the top. And we're not collecting your credit card information up front either. So it's not like Planet Fitness where we hope you join and forget to quit. You've got to want to be a member of QuantumListing, and we sure hope you decide to become a paying member. If you are a member whose 3 months are up and you haven't renewed, after a certain time, we're going to unpublish your listings until you become a member. Also, during the time between when your membership expires and when you pay, there'll be a little red lock over your profile picture to indicate that you need to pay. We are going to send you notifications about renewing. But again, I think the question was, how much does it cost? It's $79.99 a year for an individual user. And if you're an enterprise, it's $79.99 per year per agent. And so very, very affordable for pretty much everybody. If you'd like to find out more about quantum listing, you can contact me, David Perlmutter, at david@quantumlisting. You can give me a call. That's my direct line, 914-470-5719. You can also contact our team members, Andres and Julia, by emailing them at andres@quantumlisting or julia@quantumlisting. There is one thing I'd like to show you, a couple of things I'd like to show you before we say goodbye. And that is another great way to get in touch with us is the blue button at the bottom right of every single page. This is Intercom. You've probably seen this on other sites as well. And if you have a question for us, you just click on Start a New Conversation, type in your message here, and we'll respond as soon as we see it. Another great resource for you is our How It Works section. There are dozens of articles on all of our features. And we also have an iOS and Android app, and we have information on those here as well. If you don't see an article on what it is you're looking for, you can send us a message here in the comment box. I'd also like to point out on the bottom right is our links for the Apple App Store for our iOS app and for the Android Google Play Store for our Android app. On the bottom left side, if you love us, we hope you'll share Quantum Listing to your social networks. We can also provide a RSS feed of our listings, which you're welcome to post on your website or your blog. And speaking of blogs, we have a great blog which we update usually twice a week, and lots of interesting articles that we write. And we have a nice series called the Quantum Lister Profile Series, which we'd love to feature you in, where we send you some prompt questions, which we ask you to fill out, and we take that and write an article about you, and we add your listings. This one on David C. was recently picked up and featured on the broker list as well. And we share these articles to our social media. David's a real interesting guy. He's got some videos that talk about his philosophy for commercial real estate and how he likes to give back to the community. And we also feature all of your listings on the blog post as well. And they get updated in real time because these listings are served using that iframe that we talked about earlier. And so as long as you stay a member and keep your content fresh, it's going to be another great way for you to get the word out about yourself and your business. So that we really encourage you to do. David, as you can see, is very active in social media. He's added links to all of his different social media. And he added a bio. He has this kind of cool picture of himself there, a very graphic, cartoony type of picture, plus that picture. So there's a lot of great resources. We have commercial real estate news, which is powered by the news funnel, which you can check on and use as a resource. And we have links to our Twitter feed, and we have a sister site called CRE Podcasts, where we invite you to go and get informed on different commercial real estate podcasts and video channels. If you are a podcaster or have a video channel that deals with commercial real estate, we invite you to submit that to us, and we'd be more than happy to include that on the QuantumListing CRE podcast site. So I believe that concludes the prepared portion of our program. And if you have any questions, please let me know in the chat box. One thing I do want to just clarify, if you have 12 agents or more in your enterprise, we cap out the annual fee for your enterprise at $899.99 per year. So I'm going to now take this opportunity to thank Andres and Julia for their help in preparing for today's webinar. I want to thank all of our guests for taking the time to share, to spend with us today, to get to know more about quantum listing. And I'm going to turn off the recording, and we'll stick around for a while. And if you have questions, please type them in the chat box, or feel free to send me an email at david@quantumlisting, or use the intercom button at the bottom right of the website. If you're not already a member, I hope to see you joining up sometime real soon. Thank you, everybody.